Buttless, and that is not all they're missing. Sex-crazed salt shakers of death are now roaming the earth thanks to a fungus that is preying on cicadas. That's according to new reports from NPR and the Washington Post. Massospora, as the fungus is called, it causes cicadas' butts and their genitals to fall off, and it leaves these red-eyed buggers infertile and yet somehow still staggeringly horny. One researcher wrote that the fungus, quote, takes over their brains and encourages them to ignore the fact that half their bodies are missing. That's when their sex drives rev up and they desperately try to mate. Since their genitals are gone, their attempts at sex only serve to spread the fungus. Joining us now to talk about this is Dr. Gene Kritsky, who is the author of Periodical Cicadas, the Brood X edition, and also the dean of the School of Behavioral and Natural Scientists at Mount St. Joseph University. Okay, Dr. Kritsky, cicadas are kind of gross enough as they are. They're everywhere right now. I mean, they are just all over my house in my backyard. And now this fungus.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're lucky to have so many cicadas. I wish I had that in my backyard right now. But the fungus is an amazing process. It was first, the butt falling off is first observed by Benjamin Benneker back in the 1800s. So that's been known, but they didn't know it was a fungus. But this thing really drives them into a super sex drive because it's a sexually transmitted fungal disease.
But Professor, that's what gets me, and maybe it's because I'm perpetually 14 years old. But their genitals are falling off, yet their sex drive is increased. Is there not something biologically cruel about this?
Well, you have to look at it from the fungus's perspective.
Always.
For the fungus, it's always, that's what they're trying to do. The purpose of all life is to reproduce, and even though that's what the cicadas want to do, the fungus has essentially trumped that and caused the males to attempt to mate with females. That spreads the fungus. What's really wild is that when a male cicada starts calling, the fungal infected male will flick his wings, pretending to be the female, luring the amorous male in and spreading the fungus to him.
So yesterday I'm out in front of my house and I hear my husband talk to me through the doorbell and he says, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm looking for the fungus because there's cicadas all over our front stoop." I saw none of them, but I did read that actually while a small fraction of cicadas that are infected here, I mean, there are so many cicadas that you're actually talking about, what would it be, billions of cicadas who are impacted.
Well, you're looking at there are billions of cicadas in your front yard. You probably have a few thousand, which would mean you might have maybe tens into maybe a few hundred of these, because it's only about 5 to 10% of the population that's going to be infected with this. And it's pretty obvious to see. Yes, their butt falls off, and it's this big white chalky mass that you see when you look at the end of the abdomen. But they still fly around. They're still active. As I say, it's great for the fungus, not for the cicadas.
So because of the fungus, there are millions of junkless cicadas right now. Again, is there a larger? I mean, is there a larger impact on the rest of the population or nature in general beyond just these unfortunate insects?
Well, so one of the great cicada workers, Monty Lloyd, suspected that when broods get really, really large, that might cause a significant increase in the incidence of the fungus in populations. But that's still being studied. But it doesn't affect humans. It won't cause our butts won't fall off. It's not going to be an issue for us at all. But for some of the cicadas, it gets them in the end.
I wasn't ready for that, Dr. Gene. Oh my goodness. Well, look, it is a pleasure having you on. We have been talking about these bugs all week. I'm mildly obsessed with them. And this must be quite the year for you, Dr. Gene Kritsky, the cicada expert. Can't wait to talk to you again in 17 years. And New Day continues.
I'll only be 84. I'll be here.
I have to say, I'm going to steal one of your phrases. I'm going to steal and apply to many other aspects of life. You have to look at it from the fungus's perspective. Thank you, Doctor.
New Day continues right now.